Hello, everyone, and welcome to class day. I wanted to talk to you today about the different things that we're going to be doing in class. Today's class is going to be a little bit different than classes in the past. Prior to today, we've done things like I give you a tutorial and you follow it, or I show you a picture of an object and you recreate it. Today, you're going to get to be a little more creative because you're going to do a design challenge. And the design challenges that we'll do throughout the semester are single day challenges that should be relatively simple for you to complete or create. And they will count in your grades as part of the design challenges, which is outlined in your syllabus. Uh, but I just wanted to show you how to get from your design on shape to actually making your design challenge piece and explain to you a little bit about what the design challenge is for today. So, first of all, today's design challenge is that you're going to be designing a toothbrush holder. That is correct. You're going to be designing a toothbrush holder to hold your toothbrush at home. The toothbrush holder specifications are that it must be tall enough to hold the toothbrush. It must be all one piece. It must be self balanced when a toothbrush is in it. So if I put a toothbrush in it, is it going to fall over or is it going to stay upright? Um, Beyond that, you can customize the design to your particular needs. So I'd love to see some of you include multiple holders for toothbrushes, include holders that will handle electric toothbrushes or water picks or whatever devices you might have at home. Um, any of those will work, but the minimum is that it holds a single toothbrush. So that's all the specifications I'm going to give you. You can create wherever you want to. Obviously, it needs to be within the dimensions that are 3D printable because you're actually going to be making these. So let's pretend here that I'm in Onshape and I created my toothbrush holder, and that's what we're going to pretend this part is. What I'm going to do in order to get this into Polar, into the system that we'll use to print, is I need to export it first. So I'm going to right click and choose export, and I'm going to call this Holler's toothbrush holder. Now, by the way, before I get to exporting this, keep in mind that this is going to be an STL format. If you try to go and get a toothbrush holder from Thingiverse or something like that and just pop it in there and think that you're going to be able to print it, that's not going to work. Okay, first of all, Onshape won't translate it that way. And secondly, I'm going to require you to submit the file itself. So don't try to cheat by shortcutting this and just finding models of toothbrushes and bringing them in. I will know if you imported an entire toothbrush. I'll be able to see the different features and how you put them together in the timeline of that. So you do need to design this entirely on your own. Do not try to import things. So I gave it a name. STL stands for stereolithography. That's the flavor or the format that we're going to be exporting it as. And this says units millimeter. Understand, you can design your toothbrush in centimeters, inches, millimeters, whatever. This is just the output dimensions. And so it will convert everything for you. Just make sure this says millimeter. Do not change this to inches. And then we're going to download it, and the resolution is going to be fine. I hit OK, and I'm going to save it to my downloads. You could save it to your drive if you want to. And then I'm going to go to Polar Cloud. You should bookmark this when we signed into it the first day of class. And in here, you should have My Objects. I'm going to click on Upload, and I'm going to click on this button here. And then I'm going to find my toothbrush holder and open it. And a preview will pop up here. Now, if I click Upload and nothing happens, like it doesn't actually upload it, sometimes you'll see a little black box here that says that you need to wait to let it render a preview essentially. So give it a few seconds if it doesn't, and then hit upload again. So then you'll have your file here. There's the name of it. If you need to change the name of it, you can click on edit. This can always be found in the Explore button under Objects. So there's your objects, Object Shares with Me, and Community Objects. So I will put community objects out there for you as well, which, by the way, you are now part of. If you go to groups, the Gold One CAD and Engineering community. So all the members are in here. Objects can be placed here. So if you find a really cool object and you want to share it with the community, you can do that. And then we also have access to all of the printers here as well. And you'll see that the number of them are actually running right now. So because you're part of this community, you now have access to all of our printers. So I'm going to go back to objects. I'm going to click on this object and I'm going to click 3D print. Now, this may be confusing to you. Some people will choose like my school. Um, you don't want to do that because you have access directly to the printer. So you don't want to choose my school. You actually have a printer you have access to. So you're going to click on my printer. And just remember this, I just checked that, remember the selection and send job. So then it's going to say, where do you want to send the job to? And you can choose any of the printers. I would stay away from the BT 3D printer. That's the one in my office. That's got a circular build plate, which you might find a bit confusing. So let's just say that this is the printer that I want it to go to. This object, the way it sits right now, is not the way I want this object to lay. So I can actually move this. So if I take this, I can move it back and forth. I could scale it if I want to, but hopefully your dimensions are already correct for your toothbrush holder before you import it. But I can scale it as well by dragging these boxes and making it larger and smaller. You'll notice that it does move quite a bit very quickly. Um, and it will always scale them uniformly. I don't want that, so I'm going to drag it back down here to a reasonable size. So I'm going to do 100. There we go. That's the size that it should have been originally. And then you'll notice that this is laying on its side, which is not terrible, but it's not going to give me good platform adhesion. So I'm going to rotate this by grabbing these handles. And I can rotate it this way, or I can also rotate it this way. And then if I rotate it that way, I can release. And notice it's at 91, so I'm going to change it to 90 exactly. Oops. Another 90. Yep. 180. We'll try this again. There we go. 270. That's what I'm looking for. So 270. You'll notice it's flat on the build plate. You always want to keep this checked. By default, it is checked, but I want it flat on that build plate so that it's not underneath. That's not floating in midair because that would be bad as well. Once you've done that, you're going to go to print settings. For all of your prints, you're going to choose the PLA 0.3 millimeter draft quality. And in the basic, you're going to choose the infill. For everyone, it's going to be 15%. Do not choose 30 or 45. I will decline your print and you will get a zero. So make sure you set these print settings the way they're supposed to be. 15% means that that's how much density the object has. You don't need a super dense toothbrush holder. The more density you choose, the longer the print takes. Shell thickness means that those are the number of exterior walls before you get to this fill pattern. So the more shells, the more sturdy the object is. Again, 2 shell thickness is plenty for this particular design. If we were doing something that was banged into a lot or that's subjected to other stresses, we might do additional shells or additional densities. And then resolution, draft, medium, and high. We're going to leave it as draft. For a toothbrush holder, we don't need a lot of detail. If we wanted, like really nice fonts in it until it looked really clean, then we would go with high detail. But keep in mind that as you increase the resolution, then it's going to take more time. And then we want to choose raft. Always make sure you choose raft. That will make sure that it adheres properly to the build plate. Once you've done that, you can click on print and it will now queue the job and it'll say waiting to slice. From this point forward, you do not do anything else. I will start the prints once the build plate is cleared and ready to go. So you queue it up and then leave it alone and I will print it from there. That's also why it's important to make sure you include your name on any objects that you want printed so I know whose they are and can label them as such. So that's it. Make sure you design your toothbrush holder. Make sure you get into Polar, and then make sure you submit it to be printed, and I will get them printed for you. Thanks, and have a great day.